Hello everyone, welcome back. So today I want to talk to you guys about your AR and pistol setup, okay? And this video is intended towards new shooters, and there's basically three things that you need on your AR-15. You need a sling, okay, because you need a place to be able to, you got to be able to hang the rifle, right? Because sometimes you may have to do other things besides hold the gun, and you want to be able to just throw it over your back, get it out of your way, and do stuff. And then if you need to come back, you can come back, get back on where you need to be. Okay, so you need a sling. Okay, you need a red dot. Red dot is crucial. Red dot, because it, basically it's illuminated. You can see in low light conditions. Most bad things happen at night or in low light conditions. So you need a red dot. And I don't care how good you are with iron sights, you will be better with a red dot. And also consider the other people in your family, your wife, your kids. They will be able to use the red dot a lot easier. Come up, find it. Okay. I also recommend flip up iron sights that are co-witnessed to the red dot. So you got the three of them in a row. Then you can just get these out of the way. Okay. So you need a red dot, and then you need a light. Okay. Now this is a gun that I normally don't run with a light. So what I did is I just threw on a pistol light. So that's really convenient. Now, this is not the best place to have a light, because sometimes what happens when the light is on top and I'm shooting at night, basically the smoke, because at night you're going to see smoke. The smoke actually, the light reflects off the smoke. So this is not a good place for a light, but it's a really fast way for me to get a light on the gun, because on this gun over here, I have a top rail, but I don't have, basically these are M-lock rails on the side over here. So I have to put another piece in order to attach a light to it. So if you don't have a light handy, this is a really quick, fast way to get a light on a gun. So for lights, I usually recommend Stream lights. This is an 800 lume Stream light. It's intended for a pistol, which is great because from here I can transfer it to my pistol if I need to. As far as red dots, I usually recommend Holosun. I think Holosun is going to give you the best value for your money. Okay, these things usually cost about $200 to $250. This is a $250 one. It's solar powered and it has a battery as a backup. So normally in the daytime when I'm shooting this, I'm shooting it just with the solar power, right? However, if I was going to use this rifle for home defense, what I would do is I would switch it to manual mode, okay, so that it's working on the battery only. And the reason for that is because a lot of times at night, what's happening is, if you're using the light over here, right, your light is going forward, but the sensor is on top. So what happens is if you're using the automatic mode, it's going to see that it's going to look upwards towards the ceiling. It's going to see that there's no light, and it's going to power the light down. Meanwhile, you have your light which is going forward, and that's going to wash out the light. So that's why on a home defense rifle, even if it has solar power, what I will do is I will switch it to manual mode, okay, put the light on, and adjust the light settings so that when the light is on, I can still see the red dot, but at the same time, what happens is when I turn the light off, I don't want the red dot to be so bright that it's blinding me. Okay, so it's gotta be. So I want the red dot set to a setting that I can shoot with the light on or the light off, and I don't have to adjust it. Now, as far as being in a gunfight, you don't want to use the light. The purpose of the light is basically to identify something. All right, and once you've identified it, you usually turn it off, maybe move to a different position or get behind cover, and usually we'll shoot with the light off, because if you leave your light on, basically all the incoming fire is going to go straight to the light. Okay, so you don't keep your light on during a gunfight. You don't keep the light on continuously. Basically you just turn it on, turn it off. Turn it on. Maybe move to a different position. And assess. So you don't keep your light on constantly. First of all, the lights on these rifle lights, you only get like maybe an hour and a half or even an hour of light. So they're very powerful lights, like 800 looms, but they don't last that long. So if you keep the light on, you're going to run the battery down. Now, another useful way to use the light, if you're like in a standoff situation where, let's say you've got somebody in your house, and it seems like they're kind of like frozen for a second, and you're trying to get them to, let's say, back off or lay on the ground, usually I advise people, if somebody's in your house and you've got them at gunpoint and they're frozen, you give them loud verbal instructions, lay on the ground on the stomach, palms up, facing away from you. And if you're not getting a reaction, what you might want to do is put the light in their eyes, because right now it's daytime, right? And if that's a lot of 800 lums is a lot of light, even in the daytime, into your eyes. And what's usually going to happen is one of two things. That's either going to get them to comply immediately, or it's going to make them really aggressive. But either way, that something is going to happen right then and there, as opposed to happening whenever they decide to do something. So if you've got somebody that has it in their mind that they're going to attack you, throw the light in their face, right? You haven't actually fired anything, you haven't done anything aggressive, you've just put a light in their face. And if they have it in their mind to attack you, they're going to attack you at that instant, and you are ready to react to it. So you're taking initiative, you're taking control of the situation without actually firing a shot. And to me, the light is actually the equivalent of a warning shot. Okay, I don't want to do a warning shot because there's a lot of things that can go wrong with firing a warning shot. First of all, inside the home, it's going to make you deaf. Because you may not have your ears on. You might accidentally hit something that you don't want to hit. So I generally advise against a warning shot. But the light is a very aggressive way to tell somebody that you mean business. Okay, so that's why another reason why the light is very important on this on a rifle. Now, let me take this off. I'm going to show you guys another setup. This one over here has a quad rail. Okay, this started off as an AR with the plastic handguards, and basically this is a drop-in quad rail. It was really easy to change. This thing I think was like something like $35. Pulled out the plastic, put this in, and now I've got quad rails here to attach a light. And I have an actual rifle light on it. And again, you want to get the sling on the rifle, okay? And you want to make sure that the light and the sling don't interfere with each other, okay? So right now I have it just pulled apart, so I can come up, and I can work this light, without the sling getting tangled up on it. Now, again, this is a rifle. This rifle is not my home defense rifle. On my home defense rifle, what I've actually done is the light, right? This rifle light, instead of it being on the left side, it's actually on the right side. And then I have a pressure pad on top that I've used zip ties to basically. And so basically, I have a pressure pad on top here that I activate with my thumb. And what it does is it gets the light further away from my sling on the other side. Okay. So that's an important thing. I don't want, as much as possible, I don't want my sling and my light interfering with each other. But if you have a rifle that you normally, you don't shoot at night, this is a really quick, easy way to get a light on the gun without having to run wires and stuff like that. Okay. So like I said, on my home defense gun, I have the light on the other side, pressure pad on top. Now the other thing you'll notice, I've got the sling on attached to the outside of the stock on both of these rifles, and the reason is because if let's say I'm going around a corner, right, I can transition the gun to this shoulder, and it doesn't choke me. Whereas if this was on the other side, it would choke me. So that's why I have this on the outside. So normally I'm here, and I can come here if I need to, switch my arms if I'm going to be on this side for a while, okay, and then I can switch back, okay. So this is, and also when it's just hanging like this, it actually controls the rifle better, okay. So this is another important consideration. Now, as far as magazines, let me put this down. PMags and Lancers. Lately, I've really been preferring these Lancers. They're clear. You can see what you got in there. I think they're like $13 at Botoc. Usually they're like $18, but really great price. These things are tough. I've seen people test these by running these over with a car, dropping them on their feed lips on concrete. Really tough, really good magazines. So I definitely recommend these Lancer ones. But basically when you buy these, get a 10-pack, get 10 of these at a time. But get the 30 rounders, but also get a few of these 20 rounders. The 20 rounders are really handy. First of all, if you're sending in a rifle, it doesn't hit the table. But also, this is small enough that you can just throw in your back pocket. Okay, because so and it basically disappears into your back pocket. It's not going to stick out and fall out. So these are really convenient to have a bunch of these as a backup. So definitely recommend getting a couple of these 20 rounders, you know, filling them up and having them ready. You know, same thing with your on your home defense rifle, the magazines that you're going to use for home defense. You know, you want them loaded. I usually don't put 30 rounds in them. I usually put, you know, I'll download them. I usually put 28 rounds in them. Not that I think that it makes a difference, but and also very important, when you load your rifle, right, the proper way to load the rifle, okay, is first you lock the gun back, okay, all right, you lock the gun back, and then you put your magazine in. The reason why we're doing that is because when you're putting it in, if the bolt is closed, that top round is pushing on the bolt as you're putting it in. When the bolt is locked open, you're going to find that it goes in really easy. You give it a little tug, all right, and then basically you just hit your bolt release, it goes forward. Make sure your safety's on. So the procedure, let's do that one more time, is you lock the gun open, all right, you push down over here, lock it open, flip your safety on, it's already on, okay, and then you put your magazine in, send the bolt home, okay. So that is the loading procedure for an AR-15. That's the easiest way to do it, and usually on the last round it will lock open, okay, and because again it locks open, it's really easy to do a magazine change, okay. So that's one of the great things about an AR-15. The magazines drop right out. It makes reloading them really easy. We'll put this gun down for a second. And what I want to talk to you guys now is about your pistol. The pistol is basically your backup. So your rifle is your primary gun. Your pistol is your backup. And here's the way that works. So let's say I'm here. I'm shooting. Bang, bang, bang. I'm in a gunfight. Bang, bang, bang. Gun's jammed. Drop the pistol. You know, drop the rifle. Go to my pistol. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So the pistol is basically your backup to your rifle. Your rifle is your primary. Your pistol is your backup. Think of it as that. You know, that's how these two work together like that. And you're going to want to do drills. What I'll do is I'll do drills where basically I come up, safety off. You're going to get, you know, that's a drill you want to repeat. Come up, safety off, 3 shots, boom, boom, boom. You know, simulate a failure. You know, go to your pistol, come out, boom, boom, boom. Okay, reholster. Okay, so that's a drill that you're going to want to repeat. Get comfortable with transitioning from your rifle to your pistol. So let me talk real quickly about your pistol. Now the rifle, we use a safety. The rifle has to have a safety, especially an AR-15, because the trigger guard is exposed. Okay, and the way I think of the safety is, you know, when you lock the gun open, you put the gun on safe, it has to be flat, right? And the reason is because if you picture a situation where, let's say you're in a combat zone and you're trying to crawl forward, there's a technique that's used where you're laying on your belly, you're grabbing the sling, and you're crawling forward like this. Well, the rifle is going to be dragging on the ground, and as it's dragging on the ground, any rocks and stuff that hit the safety are going to naturally move it to the horizontal position. That's why the safety is horizontal. So that's how you know that that the safety is always horizontal. And the other thing is that when you go to shoot the rifle, I think of it as kick-starting the rifle. Okay, so just like a motorcycle, you kick-start it and the gun is ready to shoot. So come up, first get your red dot on target. Okay, kick-start it, pull the trigger, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so that's how I remember which direction I have to push the safety in. I kickstart it. Think of it like a motorcycle. Okay. Now, on the pistol, right? Different mindset on the pistol, because with the pistol, if we're using a pistol, it's usually an emergency situation. Because with the rifle, you know, we're usually a little bit better prepared. Like in a home defense situation, you know, one of the nice things about home defense is that you get to plan it out in advance. It's your territory. You know, like in my situation, you know, I want to be at the top of my staircase, you know, shooting down a narrow hallway. I got all my bad guys bunched up together in a staircase. I know that my bullets are going to go through multiple guys into the basement, so I know where all my bullets are going. They're not going to hit some innocent person. You know, my family is behind me, so I know that they're not going to be in front of me. So you get to plan all these things out in advance. You get to decide where you're going to be, where you're going to engage from. You know, and you get to plan all of that out. Now, and that's why with the rifle, you usually go into that. You know, you usually use your rifle with better mental preparation, because again, you're at the top of the staircase behind cover. You know, they start coming up. You've drawn a line in the stand. You know, like once they get past that 3rd or 4th step, that's it. You know, you've already told them verbally to get out of the house. You're armed. You know, you're going to defend yourself. They get past that 3rd step, that 4th step. You know, you open up. Okay, you got to have that all programmed in your mind. You can't decide while it's happening where that line in the sand is. Okay, you gotta know where that line in the sand is, where you are going to act to defend yourself. So with the pistol, the situation that we usually find is it's usually an emergency situation that we did not plan for. So I'm shooting, boom, 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 crap, I got some type of a jam. I'm now going to my pistol, I'm pulling it out, you know. So in that type of a situation where you are unprepared, right? You weren't prepared to use your pistol. You weren't expecting your rifle to go down or whatever, to run out of ammo or whatever. You know, so you go to your pistol. You're not going to be thinking about where's the safety, where, you know, what condition is your gun in. The gun has to be loaded with a round in the chamber, okay, and in a holster. The holster is the safety mechanism, okay. So with this holster I have here, you can see how you know, if this is a hard Kydex holster, it's a plastic holster. It's not leather, it's not fabric. It's a hard holster that protects the trigger guard. That is the safety. What I find is that when you're using guns that have mechanical safeties on them, what usually happens is that people, you know, either, you know, the safety's on when people think that it's off, or what happens is they accidentally hit the safety on, you know, so it's on, so they think it's off and it's actually on. Okay, so I've seen errors going both ways. You know, people think that the safety is off while it's on, or it's on when they think that it's off. So safeties on handguns are a really bad idea, because you're always going to be using the pistol in an emergency situation, where you might be in a situation where somebody's got their hands around your throat. By the way, that's another good reason for having a sling on the rifle. If I get into a situation where somebody jumps out in front of me, right, they're not where and they're yanking on this rifle, trying to get the rifle off of me. Well, the rifle's attached to my body, so they're going to have a harder time pulling the rifle off of me and turning it against me. So while they're tugging on this rifle, I'm going to my pistol and I'm shooting from here, boom, 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 from this position here, keeping the gun, basically bracing the gun against your body, not like this, because you're going to jam the gun up, like this, so I can, you know, because like this, I have a good sense of where the gun is oriented, okay? So this is the situation. That's how you're going to defend yourself if somebody's trying to pull the rifle away from you, okay? But that's why you need the pistol. The pistol's a backup to the rifle. So like I was saying, you need a hard Kydex holster that protects the trigger guard. That is the safety mechanism. You know, this one doesn't have a button. Some holsters have a retention button. You know, this one has a screw that just kind of tightens. It's got enough, you know, where I got actually, like, you can see how it kind of pulls up on my belt when I pull it out. Okay, so my primary pistol, you know, this Glock 17, you know, 17 round magazines. I'm using ETS magazines. These are great. They're also clear. I've done a lot of shooting with these. They work really good, very reliable, very, you know, basically combat grade. So I've been using this. This works great. Now, here's the thing. This is a full-size duty pistol. You know, so this is the gun I would use if, you know, I knew that there was riots going on in the neighborhood. You know, or I'm in a duty type of situation where I'm like, okay, I'm at high risk here. You know, I want to use a full-size gun. But on my normal everyday basis, I'm not expecting to have a problem. So I normally don't carry a big gun like this, a Glock 17. First of all, you know, this has to be worn outside, outside the belt, because I mean, you can wear it inside the belt, but, you know, inside the waistband, but it's really uncomfortable. I've tried it. It's really uncomfortable for me. But the other thing is, if you're using this, I mean, if I have a long shirt, I can kind of cover it up, but you can see there's obviously something here. The other thing I find is that this hits stuff, you know, like if you're going through a doorway, a lot of times this will hit something. So I generally don't carry a gun this big unless I need to. The gun that I normally carry, and I have one back here, I mean, I know it's kind of silly having two guns at the moment, but I'm just doing this for demonstration. This is the Smith & Wesson Shield 9, okay, so it's a 7-shot. You know, it's compact, it's small. You know, basically I wear it way back here, okay, basically it's in the sitting in the hollow of my ass. And I keep another magazine on this side over here. You know, it sits right behind my my phone case. And they're thin. They're 7-round magazines, so that, you know, and the gun, you know, it's really flat, really comfortable to carry every day. Okay. So like I said, I have it back here on the hollow, right here on the hollow of my ass. You know, there's like a little gap over here. Now, in a shit hit the fan type of situation, where I can hear there's riots going on down the street. I mean, yeah, I'm using the Glock 17 as a backup gun, but you know what? there's no reason not to take this gun and just kind of slide it back here. You know, I got it. Why not have a 30 gun? I mean, it doesn't hurt. It's thin enough. You know, I don't feel it. And the nice thing about having a second pistol back here is I can actually reach it with this hand. So if this hand became occupied for some reason, you know, and I couldn't get to either of these, you know, I have this hand here. I can reach back and I can get this gun if it's back here. You know, basically on the crack of the ass going down. So, and it's small enough that it's not going to interfere. Now, obviously, that would be uncomfortable for me to carry like that on a day-to-day basis. This is for a situation where, you know, they're burning houses in the neighborhood. Okay, where you know stuff is happening. There's a good chance that they're going to end up on your front lawn. And here's the thing: you see somebody on your front lawn, lighting up a Molotov cocktail. That's a bomb. Okay. Don't wait until they throw that into your house, okay? Because then it'll be too late. You have to stop that threat, you know, before it actually attacks your house. Because once your house starts burning, I mean, you know, you're in a really bad place. So you have to assess the threat and decide, you know, how close are you going to allow that threat to come, okay? You know, and basically, you have to use the judgment of a rational person. Okay, if I see somebody on the edge of my property, you know, lining up Molotov cocktails, you know, I mean, they're not doing that, you know, for any good reason. They're about to burn the house down with me and my kids in it. So you have to defend yourself. So a couple of things for you guys to think about as far as your setup, as far as which ARs to buy. Smith & Wesson makes really good ones. Ruger makes really good ones. You know, they're not too expensive, usually in the $600 range. Palmetto's makes some really good ones in that, you know, $600 range. As far as red dots, Howson all the way. On a flat top like this, I like a circle dot that has it's a 2 MOA dot with a 65 MOA circle. So it's got a big circle around it. Makes it really easy to find it and get it on target, especially for the wife. On a gun like this that has a front sight post, what I find is sometimes that if you have that 65 MOA, sometimes there might be too much stuff going on there. So on this rifle over here, I have a circle dot, but it's a 35 MOA circle dot. So the circle is actually a little bit smaller, so that when I look through it like here, right, that circle is actually in between. It's inside this front sight post here. It's actually inside the front post protectors, these little bunny ears over here. The 35 MOA circle is actually inside of that, so I personally like that better. So if you have a front sight post, that's something that you may want to consider. Consider getting a circle dot that's 35 MOA instead of 65 MOA. So we'll have lots of magazines. Magazines are really important. Magazine, even though lately between PMag and Lancer they're making magazines that I think are going to last many decades, with the old aluminum magazines, you know, that was the weakest link in the gun. I mean, those things were notorious for because what happens with the old aluminum magazines, if you would drop them on the lips would get bent, and then they wouldn't feed properly. So that's why you always had to have, you know, like dozens and dozens and dozens of these. Although these Lancers and the PMags, I've seen that they're holding up a lot better. Same deal with these ETS magazines. These are holding up great. So if you guys got any questions, comments, feedback, put it in the comment section. If you're not a member of my channel, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys next time.